Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Thanks for joining us here for the news on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Bankley. We start with this. The Development Authority of Bryan County has voted to cease all talks and negotiations with Westwind Elements. That's the company that's proposed a controversial nickel refinery in Bryan County. That vote came during a meeting this morning just a little over an hour ago at the County Admin Building. Now, we should note the DABC are a separate body from the Bryan County Board of Commissioners. Last week, the board called a special meeting saying they needed to investigate environmental concerns related to the project. Our Shay Schrader is at that meeting right now. She'll have the latest this afternoon. Turning now to the Crime Watch, Bullitt County Sheriff's deputies arrested 2 men after an investigation into methamphetamine distribution and thefts. Now, the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office says it conducted an investigation into William Cody Sparks of Portal and Jace Best of Sylvania. Best was arrested on January 29th at a home in Screven County. He was then taken to the Bullitt County Jail without incident, while Sparks began evading law enforcement after Best's arrests and fled Bullitt County, according to the Sheriff's Office. On February 5th, crime suppression team investigators learned that Sparks would be going back to Bullitt County that evening. With help from the Flock license plate reader system, deputies and investigators tracked and pulled the car that Sparks was traveling in over. He tried to flee the traffic stop on foot, but was quickly apprehended and taken to the Bullitt County Jail. Best is facing charges of sale of methamphetamine and manufacturing, distributing, dispensing, or possessing a controlled substance near a park or housing project, while Sparks faces multiple charges, including trafficking methamphetamine. Well, we have continuing coverage on this. The South Carolina Supreme Court is set to hear oral arguments tomorrow in the high-profile appeal of convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh. The disgraced attorney is serving 2 life sentences for the June 2021 killings of his wife Maggie and son Paul. His attorneys claim he did not receive a fair trial, arguing the verdict should be thrown out because jurors were improperly influenced by the now former clerk of court, Becky Hill. In a 2024 hearing, a judge determined that although Hill made inappropriate statements to jurors, her comments did not lead to his conviction. Murdaugh's attorney says this is the wrong legal standard.
The standard is if an elected official, if a state actor, that would be her, says things to a juror or jurors in an effort to convince them to vote a certain way, that's all that's required.
Now, Becky Hill resigned from her position as clerk of court and pleaded guilty to perjuring herself during that 2024 hearing. Murdaugh's lawyers are set to appear before the state Supreme Court tomorrow. Well, concerns continue to mount on East Anderson Street over a senior affordable housing complex. Residents and city leaders say that living conditions at Romata Riley Lofts are not meeting expectations. Seniors say they're dealing with broken appliances, unsafe conditions, and in some cases, no heat, all while they say their rent continues to rise every year. An alderman told WTOC that more than 60 seniors live in the building, with many afraid to speak out because they don't want to risk losing housing. Residents told them they're spending about $1,000 on rent per month.
A dishwasher, it does not work. It just pours water out on the floor. And I fell 2 times. For 10 months, I didn't have a dryer.
City leaders say they're now pushing for accountability and warning this could factor into future development decisions involving the property owner. We did reach out to the management company, Fairway Management, and the Lofts for comment, and are waiting to hear back. We have an update to a story we brought you yesterday. Homeowners and business owners may have to pay a new fire service fee in Statesboro. City leaders said last night that the new fee will charge residents and businesses on a monthly basis to help fund the fire department. Total fees are based on land usage and building size. City officials say they hope it helps with a $4 million funding gap from expansion and rising costs. The proposal comes after Statesboro Fire and Bullitt County Fire ended their agreement in July last year.
We've been working on this project for probably about a year and a half almost, but the city had a funding gap, and they were trying to look at innovative ways to make up that gap. So one of them was to raise taxes to generate money to fill that gap. The other one was to look at a fee.
City officials encourage all to attend future meetings to learn more. The first payment will be July 1st if this is ultimately passed. Turning to state news, a bill is circulating under the Gold Dome that brewers say supports their growth and distribution. Alani Litang with our sister station has more after speaking with a brewer owner about that bill. Take a look.
A new bill could expand sales at local small breweries. Schoolhouse Brewing in Marietta is on board.
There could be a huge marketing potential for this.
Senate Bill 456 is two-part. The first allows small breweries to sell directly to retailers for in-county orders without a distributor, though one would still be needed for out-of-county orders.
So, in all practicality, this would increase my sales, top line numbers. It would be able to build better relationships in our community, and it also helped the local community with its economy.
The second part of the bill allows for small breweries to sell more than one case of beer to customers, lifting the daily to-go sales cap.
The idea of having somebody being able to come in and purchase 2-3 cases, it'd be great.
So it's an artificial and arbitrary barrier on success. And, when they're operating on thin margins, it's been a tough few years. Every little bit helps.
Georgia Craft Brewers Guild defines small breweries as making less than 2 million barrels a year. They say this bill is about giving small businesses the flexibility they need to grow and thrive amid inflation, tariffs, supply chain issues.
They shouldn't be having to deal with outdated regulations that hinder their ability to hire more employees, to keep their staff, to, thrive and serve their communities as, again, these gathering spots which are so critical to neighborhoods.
Well, staying in state news, 2 people are now recovering after a plane's crash landing in Middle Georgia. Justin Berger with our sister station has more after speaking with the owner of one of the cars that the plane crashed into.
A plane just crashed on the road. A plane just crashed on the freaking road.
A Beechcraft Bonanza crash landing onto a busy North Georgia roadway just after noon Monday.
We're not going to make it. Please tell my wife, Molly, I love her, and my parents. I love them so much.
Thousands of vehicles travel this roadway each and every day, so emergency crews were really expecting the worst of the worst when they responded.
Emergency crews arrived to the impossible. No fatalities, only minor injuries.
My heart sank. I didn't know what we were walking into.
Corey Davis's employee was inside one of the 3 vehicles hit by the plane.
Not every day that you're sitting at a red light and a plane comes down and, scrapes up the side of the truck.
Some damage to the side, a missing mirror, but able to drive the truck away.
It was just a wild sequence.
According to the NTSB, the plane left Gainesville's Lee Memorial Airport bound for Cherokee County Regional in Canton, but had engine problems shortly after takeoff. The pilot elected to turn back toward Gainesville, but did not have enough power to make it back to the airport.
This is typically a situation which we would see multiple fatalities. The fact that the plane struck a vehicle, the fuel compartment came off one of the wings, was lodged into the back of this vehicle, and didn't, cause some type of explosion is just absolutely remarkable.
After hours of sitting near the busy intersection, crews lifted the small plane onto a flatbed, a police escort taking it back to the airport just a short distance away.
What a Monday.
The NTSB is investigating and will have a preliminary report within the next 30 days. Reporting from Gainesville and Hall County, Justin Berger, Atlanta News First.
In national news, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell appeared before a House committee yesterday for a virtual deposition and refused to answer any questions. But her attorney said she is willing to talk if President Trump grants her clemency first. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ghislaine Maxwell spoke to a congressional committee by video from prison, but what's notable is what she did not say.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
But in a statement, her attorney said Ms. Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump.
I just think it's unconscionable that she's pleading the Fifth or trying to make deals. She needs to tell the truth. It's long overdue.
The Maxwell deposition played out as fallout continues from the release of more Epstein files. Emails suggest Health Secretary RFK Jr. once went dinosaur bone hunting with Epstein and Maxwell. And Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is facing calls to resign after CBS News reported he was in business with Epstein as recently as 2014. And discussed a 2012 family trip to Epstein's Island. Lutnick has claimed he cut ties with Epstein after 2005. A spokesperson said his interactions with Epstein were, quote, limited. Monday, the Department of Justice allowed members of Congress to review unreleased, unredacted Epstein files in a secure space. Congressman Jared Moskowitz was among those who got access.
And some of the stuff I read was just gross, absolutely just gross. And there are names in there, and there are co-conspirators in there, and there are some things that people have said that I think now are untrue.
Moskowitz says only 4 computers are available to screen millions of unorganized documents. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, back here at home, the CAT board is moving forward with a new leader to run the agency. Stephanie Cutter is now in negotiations to becoming the CEO of CAT. The board of directors came together yesterday to go over the logistics. She served as acting CEO since June 2024 and was CFO for 3 years before that. CAT Chairman Dietrich Leggett says the board has continued to evaluate her to take that role full time. She also served as Savannah's city manager back in 2013. All right, we're bringing in Aaron Dixon, our WTOC Low Country reporter for this one, who... Can you move to the left a little bit? You're not in the frame. No. All right, Aaron. So do you remember, we talked about this a lot on WTOC Plus. There was a group of monks who started marching in Texas. They went through Georgia. They went through your state and Alabama. Yeah. You got a lot of ties to this.
There are a lot of ties to this, and I appreciate what they're doing. My feet would hurt by this time.
Yeah.
This is, and they're positive. Every, story I've seen with, some of my friends, interviewing them, they're always oh, they're the nicest people in the world, and they look fine. And I like that they get, police escorts, because that's what you worry about with a bunch of people walking on the road. I've covered a guy biking from across the country, from California to Alabama, but this is something that, I'm glad that they have the protection, but I'm glad they finally made it to Washington, D.C. I know that was
they're officially going to hit the spot at 1 p.m. is what it sounded like. We'll have that live on WTOC Plus, but that is why we're talking about them today, is because this months-long journey finally coming to an end as the monks do near their final destination. Yesterday they walked through Alexandria, Virginia, which is about 10 miles south of the capital. And again, they're expected to arrive in D.C. today. It's funny, my mom actually went and saw them walk through Charlotte maybe a month or two ago. She enjoyed it. It was kind of an interesting experience.
Did she get a high five? Do they give out high fives or?
No, because there were just so many people. She sent me some videos, and it's just they draw such a massive presence wherever they go. I think it's hard to kind of get up close with them now.
Do you think they're happy to kind of finally be in DC, finally getting to their destination? I mean, I know that it's tranquility and that this is part of their thing. But I would still be ooh, my legs kind of hurt. I'm glad we made it to DC.
After I do my my ultra marathons, I always take a really hot bath, and I just lay out in the tub for.
Every time I walk up a good set of stairs, I fall out and go to bed. So I could imagine walking from or if I ever go on a hike, it hurts a little bit.
Well, it's actually funny. I was about to ask you, Aaron, how far, staying kind of in spirit with this, how far would you walk in the name of peace?
I feel like I could do a county. I feel like I could definitely do
walk across a county.
Walk across a county. If we had some I know that's still 50-something miles, but I feel like I could rough it and go 50-something miles.
Well, you're kind of dancing in the name of peace, right? Isn't that fundraiser for a good cause?
Yeah, that's for a good cause. I guess that's peace. I'll look at the peace. Y'all need a little bit of peace. And these guys, I know they've inspired a lot of groups, and it's not like they've gone through some like historic spots. I know that when they were in Alabama, they walked over the Selma Bridge. They walked through Montgomery, like the civil rights, one of the civil rights capitals when you think about that. So like they've walked through some historic spots, so it's always cool to do that. But if I like walk through Beaufort County or Chatham County, I hopefully would run into some bridges and not just have to walk through the water or swim.
Yeah.
Just in that.
Do you want my stool? Because it looks like you're like straining to like kind of bend
No.
over. Okay.
No, we're good.
You don't fit in the frame.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the other reasons I brought you on is because I wanted to hear progress on your dance competition, Savannah Dancing with the Stars. How's that going?
So we met with somebody for the first time to talk about. I'd met with my dance partner for the first time. We're talking through some logistics. When we're gonna meet, what kind of dance style we're doing. We're doing Western swing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were doing salsa.
No. Salsa got thrown out. I don't have enough hip movement for salsa.
See.
Yeah, because the thing with Western swing, it's not really about lines. Lines is a big thing in some dancing things. Like you really judge people off their lines they make, because you want to make it look fluid and look like one person. But with Western swing, there's a little bit more chill factor to it. There's more like relaxation, and you can do some fun things with it. It's really hard. It's a little technical, but we'll get through it.
All right.
And I think we're gonna dance some Bruno Mars.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be
All
fun.
right.
So it'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, the big thing about it is it's for Brightside Child and Family Advocacy.
Yeah.
And it's raising money for kids in foster care and for kids that, shouldn't be going through what they're going through at such a young age. And it's just based on the household they're in. And so there's ways to give. I know I've posted on my social media like links to give, because I know I'm still raising a bunch of money for that. And that's the main reason I'm doing it. It's not, it's going to be funny to make me look a fool dancing, but like that's the
You're doing it for a good cause.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Aaron, with that, we're going to wrap things up here on WTOC Plus. Thanks for watching us all. Thank you for not breaking my set this time.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. We're welcome to.
We'll be back at noon. Here's Local News Live.